we will never settle the stars. Why do I think so? Well, look at the people all around you. Do you think that the people who can barely build houses, they can barely make a level line, they can barely do the basic necessities, can go to the stars, to the hostile environment and live in a dome? Oh yeah, and when the dome on a Mars or on a moon breaks, there's going to be basically no air to breathe. Do you think these people would want that? Do you think these people would want to live in an area where if they go out without a special suit, they just suffocate? They freeze to death? Do you think that any of this makes sense to normal people who are not somehow high IQ? Well, newsflash for you, the IQ overall is decreasing. Yeah, IQ is decreasing. And why is it so? Well, what goes up goes down. Welcome to this video. Today I would like to talk to you about why I think we will never ever settle the moon, settle the Mars, settle the stars, so to say. So my main argument is that we humans, we are not we are not made to do stuff. Well, you might say that in history we have made many great deeds, many great stuff. However, if you were to think about it, what drives us? What drives the European? What drives the Asian? What drives the African? Well, we in Europe, people adapted towards cold. In the past, we didn't gather the grain, we didn't gather the meat because it was just for fun. It was a necessity. And even though we had this storage of food, we were starving, we were in great peril. So did the Chinese people. And I think Africans, they had the best. They were, well, if you ask some botanists, basically most of the grasses, most of the trees, most of the fruits in Africa, they are edible. Yeah, it's basically a paradise where there is no winter mostly. There is no real deep freeze overall. It's basically a paradise besides the human factor, which as all humans do, they fight for the resources. However, we in Europe, we have adapted to our environment, and so did they in Africa. Our adaptation is that we can work really hard, and we can justify it, through tradition. So do they in Africa. They do have their traditions and they can justify their ways of life, but it's all just a justification, as I have pondered in the previous video, that mind is basically just a means for our body, the engine, to continue on working. So are the traditions, so are the histories, so are the thoughts, which are basically just there for our exhaust pipe, the mind, to justify its existence of its fumes, which are ideologies, beliefs, etc., etc. So if we look at it like that, I think that we can clearly say that most of the people will not justify for themselves transition into some sort of a vacuum space where they have to reside with dome over their head and suits whenever they go out. I think these people they would rather just stay here and be, because the meaning of being, as I have pondered, the meaning of being is not creating, it is not some sort of a quest. Meaning of being is being. Yeah, God wanted us to be, thus we are, and we will continue to be. and through our being we will be like bees. We will be busy like bees, gathering the nectar, trying to swindle our way into the future. Another reason why I think that we will never settle the Mars is basically most of the people are scammers, and there is no reliable way of producing, creating, inspiring the future athletes, scientists, etc., etc. These things are highly individual sort of an effort, and these efforts do not always correspond with what society requires. So imagine that you were on Mars, you know, you had I don't know, 12-hour shifts of maintenance, yeah, and you were trying to school your son, you know, he probably had a difficult childhood, and he learned your trade, you know, not by choice but by necessity. This guy, if he dreams, or if he'll ever dream about something, he will dream of probably easier life. And if he ever reads like a log like that, you know, on Earth we have oceans, you know, we have seas, you know, you can swim there without a special suit. You don't have to eat the food base. Probably in space they are not going to have like reliable or abundance amount of food. They are going to have shortage at some point. It's going to be very difficult for them. There will be very hard cost of failure there, yeah. So I think the average people and the sons and daughters of the scientists that would settle there, and maybe they would reproduce, maybe in a small number, but even the children, they wouldn't be willing, they wouldn't be interested in continuing their venture there. They wouldn't be interested in the generational project, because they would adapt, yeah, but they wouldn't thrive, yeah. That's my point. All right, so thank you for listening. That's all I wanted to say about this. Maybe I'll continue in next video, and see you. Bye bye.